Today, I want to talk about the Kwite situation. Most of you have probably heard about it already because it's been all over YouTube, but if you haven't, here we go. Basically, a Twitter user named Orion came out with some series of serious allegations against a YouTuber named Kwite. If you don't know who that is, he's a very popular commentary YouTuber with a little over 1 million subscribers. Orion, the Twitter user, came out with some truly horrible allegations against Kwite, including but not only R-wording the alleged victim. I can't say the actual word or I'll get in trouble, but you know what I mean. Orion posted a tweet which said, "I refuse to be silent any longer," with a link to a tweet longer about the whole situation, along with some screenshot evidence supporting his allegations against Kwite, which I will show later on in the video. This situation is a bit different than the average YouTuber being exposed tweets, because the people who most often expose the YouTubers are anonymous Twitter accounts who don't provide almost any evidence about the situation, but this case is different because the Twitter user is a fairly popular person, as well as they provide a long list of evidence, such as multiple screenshots of his and Kwite's private messages along with pictures of them together, which is a very big deal because Kwite is a faceless YouTuber, which is a great deal to stay relatively anonymous. Personally, I think it was very wrong for Orion to post pictures of Kwite, because there could have been a lot of reasons why Kwite wanted to stay anonymous, including safety, privacy, and a long list of other reasons. So I think that was wrong. Even if they did something wrong, it's still not acceptable to do that to someone, but that's just my personal opinion. Now on to reading the twit longer. Hello. I never felt that I could come out about this, and I've struggled with this for years before writing this, and I doubt it'll be anything close of the years after I write this that this will ever be released. But in the case that you are reading this, I have to come out and lay what has happened to me. I was R-worded by a man known as the YouTuber Kwite in February of 2018, and had been in an extremely toxic friendship / on and off relationship with him since 2017. This is a pretty bold start to this whole twit longer. To start in the beginning, I had found Kwite's channel when it had less than 500 subscribers, and as a teenager wanted to make art for him because he didn't use his face in his videos. I thought he would have an easier time if I drew him, and recommended he wore sunglasses and a face mask instead of manually keying his face out with a black box. There I essentially came up with a Sona with him and drew various talk sprites for him for free that he only ever used maybe once. A few things about this: if this person really did come up with the sunglasses and face mask idea, that would be insane because they would have a very large part in Kwite's full channel, because that is what Kwite is known for. At this time, I was undiagnosed with autism and borderline personality disorder, which I have diagnosis of now, and thus was unaware of how these would affect me in the oncoming relationship we had, and how he would, most likely without knowing, take advantage of me. At first, we were extremely close in ways that helped the both of us. He shared bits of his past and I shared mine. However, slowly my status as an artist would land me in more YouTuber circles than his would, and he would slowly try to encourage me to let him join said spaces. As a friend, I of course wanted to include him in as many ways as I could, but as I did and he made various connections outside of me, the relationship grew transactional. While I won't say I was the most stable person at the time, I was not actively unkind. I cannot say the same for him. When my abandonment issues would arise, he would leave me ignored, and then when I was having the worst of my time, he would swoop in and save me, and keep me under his thumb. He would yell at me or act passive-aggressive towards me when being his friend was inconvenient, but love bomb me when it was just us, or he needed something from me. He would use my memory issues against me to gaslight me about things he said, and would keep most of the conversations he had on calls or Skype, because the messages would delete after a set amount of time. He would actively talk about his new friends to me when he wanted me to do something for him, and took up a great amount of my time. I just have one comment about that. They are mentioning how he took a great amount of their time, but that's what happens when you have a significant other, regardless of if they're toxic or not. And it's not only significant others, because friendships also take up a lot of time, especially when you're very close. Relationships in general, close ones at least, take up a lot of your time, and you shouldn't blame that on him. So that's all I have to say about that. Eventually, we met up in real life a few times. I had transphobic parents, so I told him my dead name to use only when my parents were talking to him. After knowing this information, he would use it as a way to belittle me. The first meeting was fine, but he had a rule that I wasn't allowed to take any pictures of him, but he was allowed to take pictures pictures of me. I can kind of understand why he was like, don't take any pictures of me, but it is still kind of weird. Depending on how early on this was in their relationship, I can understand it, and it being their first or second time meeting, I can understand it because he doesn't entirely trust them yet. But the fact that Kwite could take pictures of Orion is still a bit weird. After promising and begging to take a few pictures that wouldn't, and still haven't, been posted for memories, he let me take a few before he left. Okay, so that was the first meeting. Yeah, I can kind of understand why he was doing that, but at the same time, it is still a bit odd. The second meeting, however, was different. We had planned to meet up while he was on vacation in my city, and thus I would pick him up in my car and we would go to both a trampoline park and go see Black Panther. This is where the worst of his behavior occurred. At this time, we were both on and off flirting, and had discussed that if we were both single at this time, we would take each other's. However, once he had come on to me in the backseat of my car, I started to get cold feet. He, however, did not want to take no for an answer. In the backseat of my own car, he R-worded me. All the while, I was telling him how it hurt and how I didn't want to do this anymore. He kept telling me this is what you wanted as he went, but soon got bored of it and got out. I sat in the car by myself for a bit before going to join him in the movie we had planned to see together. And to make up, he had me buy him popcorn. Okay, that's really funny. And to make up, he made me buy him popcorn. I found that humorous. I put the event out of my mind as just two being bad at and hang out with him for the rest of the day, as he was still one of my closest friends. I have a video with him to prove we were together at the time, that I was able to post only for myself after begging him to take pictures with me because we were friends. Again, understandable. A few months later, once he gained quite a few more subscribers and larger YouTube friends, did he start ghosting me more and more often. All while I was having a BPD episode. It got to the point where he called me to cut me off. And in our fight, he called me a D-word who thinks she's a boy and will never be. This extremely hurt me and caused me to spiral more. I almost need to be institutionalized, but thankfully for my social support system, I wasn't. Months passed, and when I tried to come out about the emotional abuse I suffered, I received harassment from his fans. I received calls to my house to tell me to kill myself, furthering my poor mental health. Eventually, however, it subsided, and through a turn of events, I was able to set up a call to reconcile with him. In this call, he tried to gaslight me further, claiming that I had led him on, or worse, assaulted him instead, all in front of a mediator who thankfully knew better to believe him. In this call, he screamed at me, threw things and broke things, and continued to try to gaslight me. However, thanks to Danny, Lord Bung, he calmed down and apologized for some of his behavior. However, I don't believe he was sincere. I am truly sorry that I stayed silent on this issue for years, but I cannot keep silent. I've been scared for myself and how the public will treat me, but I'm too scared that I am the only victim to keep silent anymore. Anyone who may also have been victimized is more than encouraged to DM me, and I hope you're doing okay. I know that many of you will not believe me. I don't care anymore. Thank you for your ear, and I hope that you stay safe. TLDR, I was R-worded by Kwite, emotionally abused, dead-named, called slurs, and gaslit into silence for 6 years. That was a very big thing, and that was a lot to take in. I currently make many comments on this. Now we'll continue on to the other evidence that was provided. Alright. Required. Also, what are your family doing while we hang out? Because if they're out, hotel room empty. Kwite. We'll see. On the sheets, no good, bro. The looks part, I mean, us meeting up is fine. Who can I tell we're dating to? If you trust them to keep it a secret, I trust your judgment. Probably keep it to people I know as well, though, unless you're really close with them. Then I get it. And, ooh, changing it or something? Pictures they drew. Is this a good neutral for mask guy? Yeah. Honestly, this just looks like two people in a relationship having an average conversation. I don't know what this is evidence for. It's not supporting anything else. It's not showing him emotionally abusing Orion. It's not showing any of that. It's just normal behavior when you're dating someone. And there was one last screenshot, but I won't be showing it out of respect for Kwite. The last screenshot was just a bunch of photos of Orion and what we are told is Kwite together. Lastly, there's been a rumor floating around that Kwite disabled his Discord account, and Kwite has recently disproved this. Been silent so far, just wanted to say that I've not deactivated my Discord account, and my statement will be coming in the next few days. It is weird that he's been silent for so long, but again, I understand it. It's a lot to take in. He's been accused of doing things that are absolutely horrible, so I understand why he's taking a while to respond. At the time of recording this video, Kwite has not said anything else about the situation, and now that I've shown you all the evidence so far, and I am using evidence very loosely in the situation, here's my take on the situation. I personally just think there's not enough evidence to say Kwite is innocent or not. I'm a very firm believer of the saying innocent until proven guilty, and I just do not think there's enough evidence saying that he is guilty. At least right now, there is not. But if any other information comes out, I will post a video about it. This is an entirely new channel, so I hope you enjoyed. Go follow my other one if you did enjoy. And thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye.